Okay, the overall schedule is here. We will have an overview of the VQEG projects as we usually do in the beginning of the meetings. And we will have for today YEG hybrid. And after the break, there will be a some session. And as you know, you can see the different presentations here in this, which are numbered. What the presentation means can be found in if you go to meetings and look at the current meeting, there are the Google document for the presentation. There is the Google Doc for the schedule, and also Google Doc for the minutes. So, and the presentations where you can read what the numbers are is this one. So for all of the presentation, there is a number, and that corresponds to the number in the schedule here. So you can approximately know when a specific presentation will be given. So Femi, do you have any? Thank you, by the way, for hosting this meeting. Very good and excellent that you could do it. Do you have any updates or information that you want to share for everyone at this point?
Just to note that at the break, there have been 3 links which have been sent as part of the email I sent out to everyone. So there's 3 social rooms, and each of them have a different link to a Teams meeting. So if you want to use any of those rooms, they're available all through the week. And just to reiterate an apology for sending you so many meeting invites. And hopefully for the calendar invites after the 17th, you can delete. I did amend the invite, but some people probably didn't get that. So, but please just note that anything after the 17th needs to be deleted. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Before getting into the program, Margaret, do you have any thing you want to update us on at this point?
Well, I just made the meeting minutes document available, as you saw.
Hello. Hello.
I am. Yes.
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
You called me. You called me. This is Mikołaj speaking. Hello.
You are in a Teams meeting for VQEG at the moment, Mikołaj.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that.
Okay, go ahead, Margaret.
Okay, so I'm getting a few emails from people who did not remember to register. Will forwarding today's meeting in series get all the information people need?
You can forward the link. If I can get their emails, I could send them the new calendar invites.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will. From now on, I'll let people know when I get those invitations. Thanks. Nope, that's it. I would also encourage people to send me their presentations, and please include the number of your presentation when you forward it to me. That's all I have, Shel. Thank you.
Okay, great. So as the tradition says, we're going to go around the virtual table and introduce ourselves. briefly. We are quite a few on the call, but we should do it somehow. Let me see if I can get a list of everyone on the call so I can point to the next one. Otherwise, I guess, yes, I have it here. Where did it go? And then we will get into the overview of the VQEG project. And while we do that, if you can, it would be nice if you could also briefly turn on your camera so we can see you briefly at least. Then I guess for the bandwidth, maybe it is good that we don't use the cameras that much. I don't know. We haven't had so much problems with the bandwidth previous meetings, but maybe that's a good precaution. Anyway, I can start since I'm just talking at the moment. So my name is Kjell Brandström. I'm working for RISE, Research Institutes of Sweden, as a senior scientist and with video quality research, and I'm one of the co-chairs for VQEG. So then I not going exactly by the list, but I will point to Margaret at least to go next.
There we go. Hi, I'm Margaret Pinson. I'm the other VQEG co-chair. I work for the Institute for Telecommunications Sciences, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce.
Thank you. Abi Bhatt. Sorry if I cannot pronounce your correctly.
No, that was perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abi Bhatt. I'm from a live streaming sports company called DAZN, and I'm a video architect, and I look after glass-to-glass video encoding and quality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Femi?
Hi, I'm Femi Adeyemi-Ejeye. I'm a lecturer at the University of Surrey. Thank you.
And the host for this meeting.
And the host of the meeting. Thanks.
Alasdair Kennedy.
Hi there, Alistair Kennedy. Same as Abby, DAZN, live sports streaming, head of video architecture, so interested in learning about what VQEG do.
Thank you and welcome. Avrajyoti Dutta.
Yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity to attend the virtual meeting. And first of all, as per Central European time, I would like to say that wish you a very good afternoon, sir. And myself, Avrajyoti Dutta, and I am enrolled as a PhD student in AGH University and Science and Technology. Information and Communication Technology is my scientific discipline. And Dr. Nikolai Lesdruk is my supervisor. That's all.
Yeah, thank you so much. Then we go to Baju Das Merim. Do we have a, maybe you didn't recognize my pronunciation. Merim?
Miriam, I don't know if she's online. She's a lecturer at INSA Rennes in France, and she. Oh yeah, here she is.
Thank you. I'm here. Sorry, I didn't find the button. So yes, yes, I'm at INSA Rennes, and I'm working on image quality assessment, especially on medical contents. And I'm co-chair of QAH working group. as
Okay,
well
very
as
good.
Lucy and Liu Zhang will maybe not be here today.
Okay, yeah, we'll see them later this week then, I hope. Okay, thank you. When we have Bernard Feiten. We cannot hear you, I'm sorry to say. Still no sound from Bernard. Is it only me or? No, no. Yes.
No. Now it's okay. Okay. I'm Bernard Feiten from Deutsche Telekom. And we did recently some research on VR cloud gaming and also together with AVEC, Werner Robitzer, and with Immersive Cast, the company who produces such VR games platform. So we did some research and we present this during the meeting, I think on Wednesday.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Chris Bass.
Hi, yeah, hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Hi, yeah, I work for BBC Research and Development. So I work in a team that looks at streaming our content over the internet, looking at various different things to do with adaptive bitrate streaming, and just recently begun looking at how we can measure our audience quality of experience for our streaming content. So therefore very interested in all the work that VQEG has been doing on that.
Okay, thank you. Cosmin Steyeran.
Hey, I'm Cosmos Sigurian. I work at Facebook, or I guess Meta, on measuring and improving video quality at scale.
Thank you. David Linderow.
Hello, I'm David. I work at Ericsson Research here in Sweden with subjective quality assessment of a lot of different services, video, VR, AR, cloud gaming, etc.
Thank you. Joel Damke.
Yes, this is Joel Dumke. I work at ITS with Margaret, and I've been away from video quality work for a few years now, but I'm getting back into it with an interest in no reference metrics specifically.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Evangelos Alexio.
Yes. Hi to everyone. My name is Evangelos Alexiou. I'm working in CWI with a focus on subjective quality assessment and objective quality metrics for point cloud contents.
Thank you. Franz Götz-Hahn.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. My name is Franz Götz-Hahn. I'm the co-author of the Convid Video Quality Assessment Databases, and I just handed in my PhD dissertation at the University of Konstanz.
Okay, thank you. Glenn van Wallendal.
Hello, I'm Glenn van Wallendal from Ghent University, IMEC in Belgium. Professor there and vice chair of JIG Hybrid.
Thank you. Gunnar Heikkilä.
Hi, Gunnar Heikkilä, working for Ericsson in Sweden, mostly with the standardization of video quality and service quality in 3GPP ITU, and also follows VQEG now and then.
Thank you. Very nice picture you have in the background there.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. Some skating.
Yeah. Thank you. Hu Jonsi.
Hello, this is Yao Si from Wuhan University in China, and I'm a PhD student from now. And my interest topic including video quality assessment and also some video language cross-modality tasks. Thank you.
Thank you. Irene Viola.
Hello, Irene Viola here. I'm a tenure track researcher in CWI in the Netherlands. My focus is on quality of experience for immersive multimedia systems.
Thank you. Jesus Guterres. Do we have Jesus in the call?
Hello, yes, sorry, I think I'm having some problems with the network. So, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, no problem.
Okay, so this is Jesus Gutierrez. I'm a researcher at Polytechnic University in Madrid, in Spain, and my research works are related to quality evaluation of immersive media, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Immersive Media Group. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Yingli.
Hi everyone, this is Jingli from Alibaba, and I'm working for the SAM group before, and currently I'm more interested in the NORM group because my work mainly focus on the quality assessment of the user-generated content and professional generated content, and currently it's more on the OGC, official generated content. Yeah. And also, I'm also work on the quality assessment of free viewpoint video. Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Camille Konuch.
I'm PhD student from AGH, where I work for a TUFIKU program where we mainly focus on ecological validity of measurements of QoE.
Thank you. Do we have anyone that have not given the chance to introduce him or herself?
Yeah. Sorry, Shell. Here is Loic.
Okay.
I joined a bit late. Sorry for coming late. But by the way, I am Loic Fortion, and I am a PhD candidate at the Control and Computer Department of the Control and Computer Engineering Department of the Polytechnico di Torino in Italy. And my research basically focus on the application of advanced statistical methods and machine learning to video quality assessment.
Okay, thank you. I see that there are more people also that I missed. Sorry about that. Is Savar?
Hi, I'm
Actually,
Zafar.
I think you missed all the names after K.
Yeah.
So they should be
more, I think.
hidden on your screen.
Okay, maybe this list is not the best one to go by. Okay.
You have to press more to make Teams show you all the names.
Yeah, I made a mistake, so I'm sorry. Okay, but go ahead, Safar, and I will try to go down the full list.
Hi, I am Zafar. I work at Meta, formerly Facebook, and I work on measuring and improving visual quality.
Thank you. Then I think we have Lucian Janowski.
Hello, I'm Lucian Janowski from AGH. I'm working on data analysis and subjective test analysis. I'm chair of statistical analysis method group, which we've got a meeting today. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Maria Martini.
You forgot Michelle. Maybe in the list before. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead then, Lucy.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Lucie Lévesque from Nantes University in France, and I'm co-chair of QAH, so Quality Assessment for Health Application Group. And just a little word, I think there might be a problem with the link for the minutes of this meeting. So you might want to double check.
Okay, thank you. I will fix that.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Lucy. I'll try to continue.
Yes, I guess now it's my turn, right?
Yes,
so
please.
Maria Martini, I'm a professor of multimedia communications at Kingston University, London. Thanks.
Enrico Masala.
Yes, hi. Enrico Masala from Polytechnic of Torino, Italy. I'm a professor there and a co-chair of VQEG hybrid group.
Thank you. Nabajit Barman.
Hello, hi, good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I am Nabajit Barman. I am currently working for Brightcoff UK Limited, and I'm also the co-chair of the CGI group here at VQEG. Thank you.
Thank you. Naeem Ramzan.
Hi, I'm Naeem Ramzan. I'm a professor of computer engineering at University of West of Scotland and also the co-chair of this Sci-Fi QA, and also part of the e-letter, VQEG e-letter as well. So.
Thank you. We go to Pablo Perez.
Hi, I am Pablo Perez from Nokia Bell Labs in Spain. I work in a lot of experience of different things, which is a long tradition in Bell Labs. You can see how tests were done in my lab in 1950 something, not by me, of course. And I'm also a co-chair of 5G KPI and IMG groups.
Thank you. Margaret has already been done. Then we have Rakesh Rao from Ashandra.
Hi, this is Rakesh. I'm from the Audiovisual Technology Group at TU Ilmenau in Germany. I work mainly on the quality assessment of high-resolution videos. Thank you.
Thank you. Vlad Hosu.
Yes, hello. My name is Vlad Hosu. I'm a postdoc at the University of Constance. We work in the visual quality assessment group on video and image quality assessment, with personal interest being user-generated content images. Thank you.
Thank you. Werner Robica.
Yeah, thanks. Oops, that's the wrong camera. Well, anyway, my name is Werner. I'm from AVEC, and I'm also a PhD student at TU Ilmenau. I'm a co-chair for the No Reference Metrics group and the Subjective Tools group. And yeah, my interest is in all kinds of quality metrics and tooling for those. Thank you.
Thank you. We go to Saman.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Saman Zatutaklash, and I'm working for Dolby Laboratories. And I'm also, together with Nabajit, leading the CGI group at VQEG. So thanks a lot.
Yo, Shansong Chen.
Hi, everyone. This is Zhenzhong Chen from Wuhan University. Currently, I'm working on some video quality assessment related applications. And I'm mainly involved in the activities of immersive media working group. Thanks.
Thank you. We have also Shahid.
Hello, everyone. This is Shahid from Opticom, and I'm active in video quality standardization. And also I'm co-chairing AVHD project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, did I miss anyone? This was more difficult than I thought, but So has everyone got the chance to introduce him or herself? Hearing none, great.
I am Narciso Garcia. I just joined quite late to the meeting. I am professor at the Universidad Politécnica de Madrid.
Thank you, welcome. Okay, let's go on then with the...
Okay, I updated the web page with hopefully the correct meeting minutes link. So if somebody could try that and let me know, I'd appreciate it.
I'm on.
Wonderful.
I'm on
Thank you.
and it seems to work.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Then moving on to the overview of the VQEG projects. Then we usually go through at least the main projects, get a brief status update, and also a little bit on what we could expect to hear about in the rest of this week. We can then, I can switch to the VQEG page, not the meeting, I will go to the project. Here we have a list of the projects or working group, depending on how you want to phrase it. So we can start with the ADHD.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. This is Shahid, the co-chair for ADHD, and the other co-chair is Silvio from Syscall. I don't see him in the call, but I can try to give a short overview for the project. So the VQEG project is about measuring the quality of the video for adaptive streaming applications mainly. And in this regard, we have recently concluded a project. This was a joint project between VQEG and ITU Study Group 12. And the outcome of this project was that there was a very big competition where I think overall around 10 partners participated, and we submitted 35 candidate models around different model categories, and out of these very extensive validation happened, and 3 model, one of which was a bitstream model. The second one was a reduced reference pixel based model, and the third one was a hybrid no reference model. And these 3 models were standardized under the ITU standard series of P1204. And we also proposed appendices to the standard, which are about integrating the short-term quality over a longer duration to create the session level. So this way, these standards are actually measuring the short-term quality, which is the compression aspects, and also the delivery KPIs like effects of buffering, changes in quality, etc. Going forward, we have an update for these standards planned, where we plan to extend these standards for newer codecs. And newer means the extension is planned for AV1 codec. Originally, the standards were about 8.264, HEVC and VP9, and going all the way up to the ultra high definition, maximum of 60 FPS. So this is a short overview of the ADHD project. And just to mention that there are 3 presentations in this week about in a VHD session. 2 are planned for Wednesday morning. Let me confirm that. 2 are planned for Wednesday morning session, and 1 is planned in the Thursday afternoon session.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Let's move to the Sci-Fi QA.
Okay, so I think so Sebastian is not there, but I can present. So Sebastian Boss is along with me the co-chair of this Sci-Fi QA, and the main idea for this project is to be perform the subjective quality evaluation by using the physiological signal like EEG, ECG, and some other modalities as well. However, due to this COVID and all these things, we are not conducting for the time being any further experiment. We conducted some joint experiment, but due to COVID, no, it stopped. But we would like to be maybe continue the work again when the situation permits us. However, if some other partner is interested to conduct some of the studies, then they can contact us and then we will update them all these things. However, all the information is available on this Sci-Fi QA. What we already did it. We provided a link and also the test plan as well that what we would like to do. If you go on to this Sci-Fi QA group project, then you will see that the in the second last line is about the test plan that we already designed. However, unfortunately, we didn't manage to conduct the full comprehensive. We did some partial tests, but not at a comprehensive large scale. And unfortunately, there is no presentation from our side in this meeting. Hope so for the next meeting to get some analysis, and then if the COVID allow us everything. Thanks.
Thank you, Naeem. I understand that is a difficult time for this type of experimentations. Let's move on to the we already ahead with quality assessment for health application. Excellent. Go ahead.
Can you see my slides, my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. So yeah, here is Lucie Lévesque, so co-chair of the QAH working group. So we prepared just a few slides to present you what we did this year. So in last July 2021, we got a topical review published in the IOP Physics in Medicine and Biology journal. It's a state-of-the-art of recent work on subjective medical image quality assessment and task-based approaches. In this paper, we discussed on the merits and drawbacks of the methodology used, and we also gave some guidelines for future tests. So if you are interested in our paper and can't access it because you have to pay, you can contact me. Feel free to contact me, and I can send you the PDF paper, or you can also maybe find it on our university website. And in this paper, we also release the existing annotated medical image quality databases and raise the lack of available databases. Then we also wrote another topical review, which we submitted today to the Medical Image Analysis Journal. This paper is on the objective quality assessment of medical images and videos. So we talked both on image metrics, but also on a task-based quality assessment. And so this paper will be presented by Raphael on this week at the VQEG meeting on Thursday afternoon. So you can see that in the schedule. And what I want to talk to you about today is our special session proposal for ICIP 2022 on the quality assessment for medical imaging applications. And I really want to talk to you about this today because the deadline for the special session proposal is today. And we need at least 6 papers to be able to submit our session proposal. And so far we only have 3. So we really need you to submit a title and an abstract for our special session. So same, if you need more info, please send me an email or check on my LinkedIn page for our special session call. So yeah, we need a title and a short abstract, so you can send it to me by email very quickly or let me know this afternoon. So you don't need to have a very finalized title or abstract, even just a tentative title or tentative abstract would be awesome. And if for any reason you can't submit the paper for ICIP, it's not such a big deal. What's very important for us is to have 6 abstracts by this evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next one, which is Sam, and it seems that Lucian is prepared to go.
Yes. Hello. So the SAM group is about statistical analysis method, and we are working on a different method to analyze subjective experiments. And the last meeting we've discussed and finalized the recommendation, the change in the recommendation, and providing MLE solution to the recommendation. The last half a year was less active on our side, and that is why during this meeting what we would like to do is to discuss the future of SAM and how to keep our monthly meetings and discussions and where to develop. So please join our discussion. Beside the discussion about the future of SAM, we also have 3 presentations, and this is a presentation about the FOR method that was already presented, but now with more details, and also a presentation about the databases. So interesting not only probably for the statistical data analysis, but also probably for norm users, or more people interested in norm, and also about subject removal method. Super preliminary, super hot presentation. We just prepared it just before the meeting. Very preliminary, but something that we really wanted to share with the community. So thank you very much, and see you at SAM.
Thank you, Lucian. I think we should move on to the CGI group.
Yeah. Hi, Shell. I can make a short presentation on that. Give me just 1 second to share my screen. Yeah, this is Simon speaking. And as you know, in CGI group, Nabajit and I are leading this group since 2018. And we started this group at 2018 to work actually mainly on computer-generated imagery. And at the time, we were working gaming, and that's what this group is very much, how to say it, biased to the gaming group, because that's a main number of people that are working or contributing to this group. But there are lots of people also involved in this work item, and of course, there are some parallel works ITUT work items such as VQEG, which is somehow in line with the work that is going on here. But I think there is a lot could be improved, and that's something that we will discuss it hopefully during the meeting. So in generally, like there are a few topics. One is gaming quality assessment methodologies, which we have done a number of works, and still there are some works going on. So one is P809, which is ITT recommendation, and the idea was to develop methodologies for gaming quality assessment. And now what we have is that we're also working on development of a questionnaire, which Stephen Schmidt from TU Berlin work on that, and he finalized the questionnaire, and soon he will also publish that. Sadly, he's not going to present that, but I think you have heard that before from his previous presentation. You probably know what it is about. If you don't, if you want to have more information about it, let us know. I will share some, let's say, the text about it. So then there's also P.BBQCG and P-CrowdG. There are two more work items which is still going on. And currently, we don't have any update this time for P.BBQCG. We had that last time, so that you can have a look into it. We want to have more progress to have a solid presentation. But if you're interested, just let us know. We will let you know how to find it out. But just as a brief introduction into it, P.BBQCG stands for development of beta stream-based model, video quality model for cloud gaming service. And we are currently working to prepare a test bed as well as subjective test plan to run subjective tests in a crowdsourcing way. And P.CrowdG is the actually work item trying to build this infrastructure and using crowdsourcing to conduct subjective tests for gaming and streaming application. Again, there are some other works like quality assessment and codec comparison. So regarding codec comparison, there will be a presentation by Navajit, which he will present the work, which is work on the LCVC compared to H.264 and HGVC regularly without having LCVC, and which will be one of the presentations in CGI group, which come later on. So generally, lots of work in ITU has been done. So, and that's basically some recommendation came out from this group, and I don't go through them because there will be a presentation and discussion during the CGI group, just to have them know that this work are going on still. So if you are interested, you can just have a look and find some information, or come back to me on a budget, and we will give you more information on that. So generally, there will be a discussion at CGI. So we decided, Navajit and I decided to have such a discussion because we believe that the number of contribution went down quite a lot, especially this time. So, and we want to get your feedback and to know what to do next, and get some feedback from the other members, either in CGI or outside the CGI, what project we can do perhaps together, or what project should be closed on and not bring it to CGI group. And the research level, there are some new updates, like new dataset, like HDR dataset that Navajit worked on that, and it's already published. And that's something we also make a short introduction into it. But there are some also video quality metrics developed that I will give you some hints on that if you're interested to know about that. But thanks a lot. So I look forward to see you during the VQEG CGI group, which will be on Thursday morning. Not morning, actually, it will be at, I think, 2 p.m. in European time, but so look forward to see you there.
Thank you, Saman.
I hope that I shared my screen because I feel that it was not.
Yes, I saw your screen at least, so I think you did very good. Let's move on then to Norm.
Sorry, that's me. Okay, so this Norm is no reference video quality assessment, and we've been holding meetings roughly every other week on a couple different topics. So the first topic we've been focusing on is the long-standing spatial information and temporal information SI and TI metrics, which are still being used, but they've become a bit ambiguous because of changes in technology. And so we're going through to specify an exact implementation with the aim of updating ITU T recommendation P910 to be unambiguous. So that's one whole series of meetings we've been focusing on. Another one is standard metadata to carry video quality assessment information along with the bit stream. And that one is also ongoing. We're meeting roughly once a month on that second topic. We have a lot of other talks this week on various types of no reference metrics. That will be all of day Tuesday, and it's going to be a pretty full day, so please join us for those discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Let's move on with the IGVQM, Implementer's Guide for Video Quality Metrics.
That would be me, I guess, Sel, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I didn't get a chance to greet because I joined late. This is Yannis Katsafounidis. We made small progress over the last 6+ months, namely Google Sheet was created to store the databases that people would like to contribute or they are aware of. I remind everyone that the purpose of this project is to create a report, a comprehensive report on the accuracy of objective metrics when it comes to representing subjective quality for purposes in particular of establishing video compression standards. So we have made a high-level plan to group our activities into 3 sub-activities. One, the collection of databases, and that's what this Google Sheet is all about. The second one is to collect metrics and methods that can be used to assess and used against correlation. And number 3, and most important, do the statistical analysis of all that data. And at the end of all this, draft the report. I'm not sure how much, I don't have anything particular planned except for going through the list of submitted databases, but you're welcome to join and contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannis. Very good. We move on to JEG Hybrid.
Yes. Hi. So actually, JEG Hybrid is a project to develop a generally applicable no-reference hybrid perceptual bitstream model. At least that's the purpose. And the difficulty is that we would like to do it with a small set of subjective experiments. So it means that if we want to use training techniques and so on, there is limited training possibilities and validation as well. Actually, the most important asset that we have in the group is a large-scale database with 60,000 processed video sequences. But we have many full reference objective quality measures already available for that database, which unfortunately is not subjectively annotated, of course, due to the size. And so for the same, we are trying to pursue some techniques based on machine learning, trying to model how we could in some way extract some, compute some sort of subjective values, subjective quality values for this data set, thanks to the use of models. In particular, we are focusing on modeling individual observers, as Loic will talk to you about this during the session in his presentation. And we also just concluded a project in collaboration with the Sky Group, that we already presented in the last VQEG meetings, but now finally, eventually we were able to publish all the results, so we can also discuss about this in case there are any questions. So I think that's more or less all for now, and we will have the session just after this introduction, so just stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, Enrico. Then we move to quality assessment for computer vision application, Kakovia. Is there anyone from Kakovia group that could give the overview? Okay, hearing none, let's move on then to 5G KPI.
Hi, let me share. So I'm Pablo from 5G KPI.
Yeah, I will
So
check
5G
that once this session is over, but I understood why this.
Sorry, can I? Okay, I follow.
It's really sorry. It was me. Sorry, I was just trying to chat with Femi about the chat functionality. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. So back to 5G KPI. Our mission is to study the relationship between the network KPIs, basically the world from the network designers, namely 5G, because this is where more effort is being put these days, but not extensively to other networks, and the quality of experience of the services, particularly video-based services on top of them. So we're trying to narrowing a bit the gap between both communities, the network community and the QoE community, and going a bit back closer to the ground. We have some goals to identify use cases that apply to this mission and study the global QoE aspects of them. And yeah, find the relationship between the network KPIs and the application level KPIs. And also building open data sets, which is something that is on the goal, but we haven't actually addressed them. I'm chair and Shell is vice chair of this initiative. We have Reflector. We have monthly meetings hosted by me in Microsoft Teams. So if you want to join, just drop me an email and I will send you the invite. The minutes are in a Google Doc. You can check them at any time. And we also have some Microsoft Teams document store that you can also get invitation to join if you want to join the effort. Our main work over the last several months has been writing a contribution to ITUT, this GSTR 5G QoE, a technical report about quality of experience in 5G video services, which is targeted for the next meeting, the next SC12 meeting this year. And I will present it in the meeting, in the session on Wednesday, when you can listen to more details and contribute to it if you're interested. We will have some other presentations. Margaret will present an introduction to the 5G technology, which I think may be very interesting for everyone here. Also, Werner is presenting a proposal for a KPI message for gaming quality of experience over 5G, which also looks quite interesting. And I will present some work that we have done trying to design a parametric quality model for teleoperated driving in our collaboration that we have in Nokia with the 5G AA, the 5G Automotive Association. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. So do we still haven't the Kakovia group present, or? Okay, in that case, let's move on to IMG group. Jesus.
Sorry, yes, I'm still having troubles with the network. I'll try to share my screen. I have one slide for that. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, the AMG group addresses the quality of assessment of immersive media, including 3D content like stereo, multi-view, free viewpoint video, 360-degree content, virtual, augmented, or mixed reality, and also light field and plenoptic content. Our main goals are the generation of data sets of immersive media content, and also to provide quality of experience guidelines, and to work on subjective test methods and develop objective metrics and also validate them. The main activities that we have been doing in the last months and the future ones that I'm going to talk about later are so the test plan on quality assessment for short 360-degree videos that was finalized last year. It resulted well, it covers the first phase of our original test plan that was related to short sequences. The second phase was addressing long sequences. So with this first phase, we obtained a paper in IEEE Transactions and Multimedia that is already available in early access. And also this work was instrumental in the development of the recommendation ITUT P919 on subjective test methodologies for 360-degree video on head-mounted displays. We are also still following and contributing to other standardization groups like MPEG, especially the ADO group on quality of immersive media, and ITUT, especially the study group 12. In fact, in the last months, I gave a presentation on the workshop on quality of immersive media that was organized within the MPEG group 5 related on quality assessment. The recordings and the slides are available in the web. I will leave these slides in the server so you can access through the hyperlink. And there is also an activity related to computational models used as quality of experience or quality of service monitors to assess video telephony services, where especially the group of Samsung is deeply involved. Regarding ongoing joint works, we are still analyzing data that we gathered in this test with short 360-degree videos, and we have already some results for long videos that we plan to contribute or to submit to the ITU in order to probably add an amendment to this P919 recommendation. And another interesting thing that we would like to discuss is the future test plan. We are trying, or we aim to kick off a new test plan in this meeting or related to the evaluation of immersive or interactive communication systems. In the last VQEG meeting, in the past VQEG meeting, we had some presentations related to this topic that were presenting different systems, and we will have also some other presentations in this meeting and some discussion to launch this activity. The IMG session is on Friday, and also any other presentation related to IMG is more than welcome. And you can see in the slide the IMG reflector if you want to join our activities. And this is all.
Thank you, Jesus.
Sorry, Shell, maybe you want me to present ACM, SIGMM records right now, or?
Yes, I mean, that would be perfect timing. I was just thinking of moving over to the outreach section. So yes, please go ahead.
I think I cannot hear you.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
Jesus, we can hear
Sorry, I think I'm having troubles with the network and cannot hear you well.
Okay. You can go ahead and present the okay. Maybe he will get better connection soon, hopefully. So there are a number of support groups that we have. One of them was just mentioned by Jesus. And also, I think Naeem also mentioned one when it comes to the outreach, the e-letter. So the e-letter is a publication form that VQEG is doing, and it has been a bit dormant for a while. I'm not sure what if there are any updates for that. Naeem, do you have anything? Otherwise,
actually,
it's yeah.
Sure. Really, that's a good point to be mentioned about this one. As just one of the they are doing some special session in the ICIP. Why not? They can actually, the shorter version can be later on also as a one special issue in the VQEG e-letter. So this is for the organizer. We can think about this one while you are organizing this special session in ICIP 2022, and just a 1 page or a 1.5 page of these one can be when this paper will be accepted, can be a part of our next issue of VQEG e-letter.
Yeah, I mean that sounds good if that goes in line with let's say the publication rights of the ICIP. I think that's a IEEE based conference,
but yes, it's IEEE based conference.
Sorry, Naeem, to interrupt here, but I think Naeem's request is an interesting one. He didn't really say to have the full papers, which of course would be a copyright violation, but an abridged version, because I think I heard Naeem saying 1 or 2 pages, right? So I think perhaps, you know, an elaborated version, which can be, you know, an extended abstract, for example, from the 6 papers, is what Naeem is suggesting, right, Naeem?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, something that we could follow up upon, I think.
What about this co-chair? Think about this one. The Lohik, I think so, right?
Was it a specific group you were thinking of, like the JEG hybrid, or was it?
Yeah, no, the medical imaging one.
The medical imaging. Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are already proposing this special session. So what we are asking, that is the extended abstract that maybe they are going to submit for the ICIP for the proposal. This can also be part of our maybe a little bit further down on this one that can be utilized here as a VQEG e-letter issue.
So in that sense, it will be an e-letter targeting the medical imaging. Yeah, that's sounds like a good idea. Any comments from that working group on this proposal?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear the proposal. I'm sorry. I have a very bad quality, so I didn't understand the question.
All right. So what we are proposing here, that one, because anyway you are doing the special session proposal for the ICIP, right? So, and you have to, what we would like is the abstract of these paper, extended abstract, 1 or maximum 2 pages, that we can also for the next special issue for the VQEG e-letter, we can use that one. So we are not breaching the copyright issue as well, and also we can exploit the effort that you are putting for the full paper of ICIP. It can be released here definitely after the acceptance of these your special issue and the papers from the authors. So we can convert it into a VQEG e-letter special issue as well.
Yes, I don't know if it's possible, but yes, maybe it can be a good idea. By now, we need just a short abstract and a title and the name of authors.
Oh yes, we know that, but this is because right now you are preparing a proposal, but we are talking about the 4 or 5 months down the line, and I hope so. Your special issue, the special session will be accepted, and it will go ahead. We are saying that the abstract can be utilized here. We are not sure as well either it will be accepted or not, but
yes,
we
are not sure.
Have to trust.
Yes, we trust on
this.
this.
Best of luck with you, right?
So thank you very much. I'm sorry I was on the phone when you started to talk, so I didn't get the beginning. Sorry, but yeah, basically, yeah, what we need for today is just a title and a very short abstract for some papers, and then yeah, we'll see if our proposal is accepted or not.
Yeah, and then we can come back to this question again. So there is a number of ifs and buts here, but I guess it's up to Naeem and I to keep contacting you and see on the progress of your special session. And in that case, if you're successful, we would see if we can do a e-letter of the extended abstract, like
yeah. Yeah, that sounds great.
And also, this offer is also valid for all the other groups as well, right? All the projects. So if you have something that you would like to be, then you can organize a special issue in the VQEG letter. So just let us know that one who has any plan in near future. That would be good for us as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good point, Naeem. Very good. Thank you. Let's then. Jesus, are you connected again?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just regarding the ACM SIG amendment records, this is a quarterly newsletter from the Special Interest Group on Multimedia. And it was a dissemination opportunity that was offered to us since there are some columns there related to standardization efforts. There is one for JPEG and one for MPEG, and since for some time already, also one related to VQEG. SIGMM Records is a magazine that distributes 4 issues per year and contains articles related to successful research topics and etc. So it is available in the ACM newsletter and also in the different websites of ACM and the Special Interest Group. It has an ISSN, and also each article is assigned with a DOI. So we have started reporting on VQEG last June 2020, and the idea is to have, or what we have been trying to do is to have 2 issues per year reporting on the plenary meetings, and another 2 issues related to any other topic that is going on within VQEG. So we have been, we have already 5 numbers. We provided an introduction to VQEG. We provided information to recent contributions to ITU in September 2020. We reported on the VQEG plenary meeting in December 2020 and also in June 2021. And we missed the issue in September 2021, and we expect to provide a new report about this meeting in the issue of this month in December 2021. Anyway, we will have another issue in March next year, so if you have any suggestion or any ideas on what to report, just let us know. Shell and me, we are leading this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. We have a hand raised by Avrajoti Dutta, please. Okay. Did you did you have anything you wanted to say?
No. I was mistaken by his hand. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let's hear from the human factors for visual experiences. Is there any updates?
Yes, a short introduction on the group. So the focus on the group is on, I'm Maria Martini, first of all, from Kingston University. The focus of the group is on liaising with the IEEE Standards Association working groups on the topic of human factors for visual experiences. And the focus recently has been in particular on two items. One of them is deep learning-based assessment of visual experiences. The working group for this topic is chaired by Professor Sangun Lee from Yonsei University. The draft standard for this one has recently been submitted, and the final version will be submitted in a few months. The other ongoing activity we are liaising with is on quality assessment for light field imaging contents, and this activity is chaired by myself. And we are submitting the draft of the standard at the end of the month, at the end of December. So I may be able to provide some updates on these standards in particular, but maybe briefly about the other one as well on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for now, unless you have questions.
Okay. Then we have independent lab group. Guess there have not been a lot of activity there lately, but Margaret, you can possibly explain what it is for those who don't know.
Sure. As you said, there has been no recent activity, but the idea is this is a group of independent labs who can form as that role of independence during validation tests when needed. On a completely separate topic, I found a numbering problem on the presentation list, so please look at the updated presentation numbers before sending me documents. Thank you.
Just mention a small correction also on the web page. There is now, when I look at the e-letter on the support and outreach list, that link contains also the Sigma newsletter. So maybe the headline there should be outreach.
Okay, thanks.
Then we have the joint effort group. It's also more or less now a historic entity from the time when VQEG were doing a lot of competitive validation testing, where the independent lab group was very active. Then this joint effort group has had the mission to promote and suggest joint effort activities. One of those that is still running is the JEG hybrid. On the other hand, now the work of VQEG is more or mostly joint effort. I would say all what I know about at the moment. So we'll see if this group is still needed. I can also move on with the joint Qualinet, the VQEG team on immersive media. It has been a group that has been doing updates from VQEG to Qualinet and vice versa on the activities. Where for those who don't know, where Qualinet is a let's say a similar type of organization, but a different type of history behind it, but works on quality of experience topics, having one at the moment one meeting a year in connection with the QMX conference, and so maybe that's enough at the moment. Let's move on with the tools and subjective labs test setup group. Who wants to give an update there? Is it Glenn?
Yeah, I can do that. Werner Robitza created a website some years ago on GitHub. I'll share. So it's called a VQEG Tools and Subjective Labs setup. And if you would like to contribute a link or have some more visibility about your tool or something that you share, you can let us know and we can add it to the website. As you can see, like tools are ordered by different categories, and so you can find tools that were regularly used in the past, like within VQEG, listed in here. Just to give the update for the last since the last meeting, nothing has been added since then, so we didn't get any tools to add since then. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Excellent. And one support group more is the VQEG administration and web support, which I think is run solely by Margaret.
Yes. So, sorry, let me turn on my camera. I'm responsible for the website support and the email reflectors. The VQEG FTP server is going to go away over the next 6 months, roughly. Just in general, anonymous FTP is not supported by modern computer systems, so we will be embedding the files that are on the anonymous FTP site into the website itself. And until that happens, it's going to be a little bit awkward to get to the anonymous FTP files because the direct links don't work. That's because of updates to all of our browsers. So that's the only change I'm expecting in the near term. Send me an email if you have any particular comments on that issue. Thanks.
I just want to add that you can access them through the really old Internet Explorer because they haven't introduced the safety features of FTP yet.
Ah. Okay, that's a good point. And
you have to uncheck an FTP entry in the advanced settings, but otherwise it works.
Okay, that's
for those having these old browsers.
Yeah, you can also take the link and go to a tool that's specifically for FTP access and get to the files that way. But like the files for this meeting, I'm embedding directly into the web page for the meeting under the presentation number.
Okay, thank you. So we are coming to the more or less the end. There is one entity more that is the IRD-AVQA, which is the intersector rapporteur group for audiovisual quality assessment. It is it can have meetings at the VQEG meeting, and at that time it is regarded as a, as I understand it correctly, a official ITU meeting and a way to let's say do joint work with the ITU at the VQEG meetings. Do we have anyone from that that are active in IRD-AVQA that would give us some update? Hearing none, there will be a session in on Wednesday, I believe, that will cover some of the ITU activities. So if you're interested in that, please join that meeting. There will not be an official IRD-AVQA meeting this meeting, but hopefully we will have one at the next meeting. So unless I missed some things, we are done with the status update. So for the working group, and could move on to the I think the JEG hybrid meeting. Okay, let's hand it over to JEG hybrid. Thank you.
Thank you, Shell. So we are going to present having a couple of presentations. First, very short by me, and then by Loic. I wanted to share the screen, but the interface is okay. I think I found it. Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So this is just a very quick update about the status of JEG hybrid, which I just introduced before. And as I said, it's the mission is to develop a generally applicable no-reference hybrid perceptual bitstream model, which of course is a quite challenging task. As Shell remembered, it's a joint effort. I mean, the name is JEG hybrid, so it's a joint effort. So everybody is welcome to join, and we are trying to pursue this objective. For quite a few years, we have been done this, and the main constraint is that we would like to do it without, let's say, too much effort in terms of subjective experiments, which are of course constraints on. Historically, we kept maintaining a valuable asset, which is a large-scale database of 60,000 processed video sequences, and even more when we consider processed video sequences which are impaired by errors and losses. We have many poor reference objective quality measures available, computed over time, including the recent ones like VMAF and so on. And towards the goal of reaching this, achieving something which is as closely as possible to a no-reference hybrid perceptual bitstream model. We are working mainly on models, and thanks to Loic, especially trying to model individual observers' behaviors, about which he will talk a little bit in a few minutes. And also, since machine learning is say heavily present in this kind of works, we are also starting to work on a side activity which is important for us anyway, which is basically trying to define a sort of a stamp about which Loic again will talk a little bit about, to be used in scientific publication for reporting results, training and benchmarking of works that involve DNN approaches for video quality measures. Because many times you find articles or other works that report results or maybe explain how to create measures, models, and so on, but a lot of information is missing, and this is really bad for people who wants to reproduce the research or also just a study because it's missing information. And another approach that we are pursuing in the group is also trying to reuse existing the results of existing subjective experiments to deal with new challenges. That means in this context, trying to adapt them as much as possible without too much effort, for instance, to new video codecs and things like this. Also, as I mentioned before, we just concluded the other project that was in collaboration with the Sky group. And this is what I wanted to say about this. I want to remind you the key outcome. Maybe you didn't attend the last meeting, so you don't know that much about this. But fortunately now we published the results, which is also open access. If you have the presentation, which is already on the website, you can just click here and download the paper. But anyway, the key outcome of this work was basically a measure that could allow to automatically identify the PVSs in a group for which objective video quality measures are likely to deliver inaccurate MOS estimation. Of course, we rely a lot on objective video quality measures to try to estimate a MOS in a way or another. And but we know that they are not completely reliable. And when identifying the cases, specific cases in which they might not be reliable more than, let's say, in the rest of the cases, could be very interesting because it allows to run subjective experiments if we are interested in the MOS, or maybe to take a closer look, a manual look by a human or somebody that could double check that everything is going on, is working fine and as expected. And basically, you can read the paper, but the idea is that we relied on a disagreement measure proposed by Loic, by the way, which is computed on the basis on a combination of a certain number of traditional objective video quality measures, let's say more or less the one we all know. And we also validated this approach with a small subjective experiment that has been carried out thanks to the support of the Sky group. So concluding this very short first presentation about the Ejeye hybrid group, well, we meet every 2 weeks in conference call. Actually, that would have been actually today, but skipped because of the face-to-face or camera-to-camera meeting. And next will be January the 10th at 4 p.m. CT, but we can arrange the time depending on who is attending, and we are a bit flexible about this. We also have a website where we try to keep all the information and update it as needed. And of course, we have the reflector, which you can use to contact us. So I think it's all from my side. And if there are questions, I'm very glad to answer. And otherwise, I would leave the floor to Loic, that is going to present something a bit more technical, a bit probably more interesting for the group, for the meeting. So I don't see questions.
I am.
Loic, you can go.
Yeah. So I am trying to share my screen. Not sure whether you can see it yet or
maybe you should stop. Okay.
Sorry. Not working. I don't know why. Share screen. Share screen. Share and screen. No, there are issue with the screen.
As a kind of a joke, every time I use Teams, there's something new in the interface.
But it's typically the same problem with. I wanted to ask you whether I can try it before, but again.
So I can, maybe I can share.
Yeah, maybe you share. Don't know why it's. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see. Should be this one, right?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Can you put it on full screen like?
Let's
presentation mode.
Yeah, make sure. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it on the PowerPoint, but not in the presentation mode. We'll use it so.
That's a PDF. So can't you share? Can't you see the presentation?
Okay, I am still seeing the PowerPoint, but okay, maybe let's if the order are saying, then maybe we can go like this. Are you showing the PDF, Enrico, or still the PowerPoint?
I'm not sure what Teams is sharing. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Sorry, Teams is sharing your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
But it's not in presentation mode, it's in edit mode.
Okay, so
yeah,
yes.
now, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it doesn't highlight what it's sharing. That's difficult. Okay.
I mean, really sorry for this technical problem. Not sure whether anytime the team application on my laptop has this issue, but okay, let's go ahead. So thank you again. As I said before, I am Loic Fortion, and I'm going in this short presentation. I'm going to give you some updates about some more details about our current activities, since Enrico already introduced them. So please, next slide, Enrico. Okay, the first activity I want to discuss about is the idea of reusing existing subjective data sets to deal with new challenges. And in particular, we all know that subjective experiments are time-consuming and also resource-demanding. And our idea was that of saying, oh, okay, if a new codec come out, should we necessarily repeat a subjective test to obtain video quality metrics for that specific codec? Or there is a way to use something that some subjective experiment that we already have on previous codec to deal with this issue. And in that context, we tried, for instance, to starting from an AVC encoded PVS to generate an HEVC encoded one with the idea of preserving the subjective quality. And what we basically do is that of trying to, we start with an AVC encoded PVS, and we find with which, how to encode it with an HEVC codec in such, what are the parameters that we should use to HEVC encode it in such a way that we preserve the objective score of the original AVC encoded PVS. Obviously, I mean, we summarized this algorithm and presented it at the MSP conference, but you see here that the main idea is that of using the objective metrics in your best scenario, application scenario, right? We are dealing with them on the same source and working more or less with similar HRC using two codecs. They are not perfectly equal, but one say that, okay, I am processing the video sequence with two codecs, so that more or less the type of artifacts that I can create are the same. So we hope that this type of algorithm is better than labeling the data set with just a video quality matrix, because we are using still the video quality metric, but in your best application scenario. I mean, we did it for HEVC, but right now in the next feature, we are planning to do it also for the AV1 encoder. So yeah, please, Enrico, next slide. And the other activity, as Enrico already said, is that of trying to reach, a common template to be used by a researcher in the scientific publication when reporting the training as well as the benchmarking process of deep neural network-based video quality metrics. The point is that, starting especially from PhD students, I am saying it because I am still one, and so on. The main idea is typically of I put down a data set, and then I try to predict the mean opinion score starting from that. Okay, and this is not the point from PhD student, right? Also, many researchers are typically doing that now, and the consequence of this is that we have been seeing thousands of works coming out with using deep learning to predict the mean opinion score. That's okay, but there are many open questions, right? How, when you typically read a paper based on deep learning to predict the mean opinion score, there are a lot of questions. Can I be able to reproduce what has been done? Do the reviewer have some objective rules to clearly figure out what is the contribution of the paper, as more or less everybody is able to put down a data set and then run many models and see the one that comes out? So we need a template to make sure that the reviewer could actually easily figure out what is the contribution of the paper. And the third point will also be, okay, deep neural networks allow you to use a lot of parameters. Is it fair to use traditional statistical indicators such as the schema rank order correlation, the Pearson linear correlation, and the root mean square error as they are, to compare them to simple models such as the PSNR, SSM, and so on? So there are many questions that we would like to address with such a template. And what are possible dimensions that such a template is going to focus on? We are talking about details on the architecture, how to put down the training and the validation set. Should we use a common test set depending on the type of applications you are dealing with, and so on? And how can we statistically adjust the indices such as the root mean square errors and the correlation coefficients to account for the fact that deep neural network-based model goes with some advantage. They have the possibility to use thousands of parameters. So when benchmarking them, how should we adjust again the statistical indexes? And finally, if I do have two models, two video quality metrics based on on two different deep neural networks architecture, how do I make sure that those two models are not more or less similar? So in short, how can I compare two deep neural networks trained for video quality metric predictions? These are questions that we would like to face. And as you can see, this question involve or require in basically knowledge about, I mean, the statistical the statistics in the statistical domain, and as well as machine learning. So in terms of publication, this is we are still at the early stage, and we really welcome collaborators, and again, if possibly collaborators with statistical and machine learning backgrounds. But obviously, any contribution is welcome. Next slide, Enrico, please. Okay. This is one of our traditional activity, right, that we have been dealing with now for more than 2 years. And the idea is that instead of predicting the mean opinion score, let's try to train the neural networks that predict the opinion score of a single observer. That means basically I invite Bob to a subjective experiment. I don't want to pool the opinions of Bob with those of another observer to get the mean opinion score and predict the mean opinion score, but rather I want to train a model that can then predict the Bob opinions. Okay, so we decided to call such a model the Bob artificial intelligence-based observer. And what are the challenges that come from such an approach? I mean, starting from the works by Lucian, Margaret, and also the SAM group in general, it's clear to us that raw opinions, that raw opinions are affected by a lot of noise, in particular the subject inconsistency. And therefore, when you move from most prediction to single opinion prediction and so on, what happened is that you are dealing with the noisy task, and so you are in a field where we have lack of data, like video quality assessment, but you are moving again to a task that will require much more data because labels are noisy. So this is challenging, and there are many questions that are still open, and I will just quickly talk about the question of how should we design subjective experiment for this type of task, where we need to predict the opinion of a single viewer. You know that single viewers are typically inconsistent and so on, but you also have to keep in mind that you need, unlike the typical case for most prediction, where you need many observers, and then by averaging you take out a bit of noise. In this case, you would like the single observer to read too many sequences, and therefore you need to manage the subject fatigue. So we believe that new recommendations are important in this case to really understand how to do this sort of activity. So next slide, Enrico, please. By the way, currently, I think that in the past, what we did is that we used some data augmentation strategies to deal with the challenges imposed by this sort of tasks, and also we relied on transfer learning to derive deep neural network-based AI observers, okay, for still images, for the still image case. Now, when it comes to videos, we again use the same concept of transfer learning to derive neural networks that can also deal for video applications. And in particular, in the context of our transfer learning approach, what we did is that we tried to train a neural network that we call JPEG ResNet 50. That's a neural network that is able to classify images on the basis of 5 different levels of JPEG compression. So this neural network is a good starting point for transfer learning because it's something that learns, it's a neural network that is able to figure out perceptual feature for video quality characterization. And then starting from this JPEG ResNet 50, we then continue its training on the ITS4S dataset released by Margaret that involved 27 real observers. And therefore, we trained 27 deep neural networks, each mimicking one of the observers that participated in that experiment. And now, following basically the Pablo suggestion during the last meeting, we tried to compare these 27 AI observers to actual observers on the VQEG HD3 dataset, this time looking at the subject inconsistency and the subject bias, right? The subject inconsistency and the subject's bias are computed with the Surreal software or the likelihood based model, the maximum likelihood based model from the SAM group. And in the next slide, you will see basically the results, right? And let's start from the bias, even though I think here what is really interesting is the inconsistency. But what you see here, each row of each column, sorry, of this matrix, it corresponds to one run of the Surial software. Basically, we take the VQEG HD3 dataset, we take an AI observer, we compute its opinions, and then we add that AI observer as another observer, right? You know that in the VQEG HD3 dataset there were 24 actual observers. We add one AI observer, and then we run the Surial software. You can see that. So the last row basically shows the bias of the AI observer. The last row shows the bias of the AI observer. Why one row, okay, corresponds, each other row corresponds to the bias of the actual observer when the experiment is run with one AI observer. What you can see here is that in general, looking at this matrix, there is not a particular pattern regarding the bias of the AI observer, right? I mean, one cannot directly say that they have a positive, they are positively biased or negatively biased with respect to the actual observers. I mean, at least for us, there wasn't a particular pattern. I hope that by discussing if there are interesting information to take, if there are interesting information, please, we will really appreciate if you can figure them out. Next slide, Enrico, please. Yeah, now let us discuss the inconsistency of the AI observer versus that of the actual observer. Again, the last row showed the inconsistency of the AI observer one by one, and as one, I mean, don't want to say one could expect, but you see that there are some AI observer that has an inconsistency that is comparable, right, to that of actual observer. On the other hand side, you see that there are some AI observer, like, actually it's a bit hard to see, but let me take an example. The AI observer number 26, I think, yeah, that has a really high inconsistency, okay, and I mean, it is not the only one, and the hypothesis here could be that this AI observer that has high inconsistency corresponds to actual observers that are probably also highly inconsistent, because obviously if the observer is highly inconsistent, you do not expect that the related model will be consistent and so on. So, but this hypothesis is still to verify, as we didn't run the Surial software again yet on the ITS-OS dataset to see what are the observers that are inconsistent and so on. Next slide, Enrico, please. Here are the publications that we have already, the papers that we have already written regarding our activity on the AI observer. The first one is already published on the ACM Tom, and the other one is submitted for publication to speak. I think this was the last slide, but maybe before concluding, please, Enrico, if you could go back to I will let you next, back again, sorry, no, one more. Okay, so thank you. Here, I mean, there is something I wanted to point out so that we can then quickly discuss together about that. I mean, we are talking about the AI observer, and we are talking at the end, an AI observer is a classifier because it's a model that is trained to receive an image and predict what is the option that the related observer will have chosen on the ACR scale, right? But what is the question I would like to discuss here is, what is the expected accuracy of this model? The point is that if one go back, for instance, to the research done by Margaret and Lucian in 2015 on their paper on the multimedia transactions, I think there is an experiment. There was an experiment where you basically ask viewers to rate again sequences that you already rated, and you wanted to see how much they will be able to predict their first opinion on that sequence. And on average, what you observe, what is reported on the paper is that on average, only for 57% of the time, viewers are able to exactly repeat the opinion when compared to the first opinion that they already gave. So if you look at that data as a benchmark, one really wonder what is the expected accuracy of this air observer? Because that experiment is a sort of using the observer as his own classifier. And I don't think that the trained model is expected to have higher accuracy than what the observer himself can do in predicting his own opinion. So again, one can talk about high accuracy of this model, but yeah, the question is, what should we expect from this air observer in terms of accuracy when benchmarking them? So thank you for your attention, and yeah, I'm here for your questions. Yeah, Lucian. Yeah, I can see that Lucian has a question.
Hi, thank you very much for very interesting work, and continue also this interesting journey. I will leave Pablo some comments because I'm pretty sure that he will refer to Favre. My question is actually why on the next slide we see that this AI observer is not stable in the sense that the bias and the consistency is changing over time. I thought that this is like an observer. If we are trying to mimic a particular observer, then it should also mimic the inconsistency and the bias of this observer. So this should be more constant. Is it wrong feeling from my side, or this is just imperfection of the method yet, like the future work?
Okay, no, sorry. I think that probably I did not clearly explain this graph. This is not, actually this last row is not a single AI observer. Each column is a different AI observer. Okay, why? I mean, for the 24 actual observer, we are always using the same observer. But on the last row, so on the last row we have different AI observer. We have the 27 AI observer. So one column for one observer, for one AI observer. And in particular, on each column, you have the 24. We run Surreal software, the Surreal software. For each column, you run the Surreal software with 24 real observers, the one that participated in the VQEG HD dataset, and one AI observer. So the AI observer is changing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. By the way, very interesting for me is how we can clearly see that the other observers' estimations are changing with this slightly changing color of the slides. But this is reasonable, of course. But okay, if this is so, then have you tested how stable this IO observer is for particular tester?
So you mean, yeah, what we are trying, for instance, to do here now, Lucian, is we would like to do this experiment other way, like keeping the AI observer, but inserting instead one actual observer to see how they will, as you said, to see whether we have the same stability that we see here with the actual AI observer, with the actual observers. So it's something that we are trying to do.
This would be very interesting. Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think Pablo had a question. There were a question from Pablo, or
Pablo, you are muted.
Yeah. Now better. Thanks, Lucian. Yeah. So there was one which has been already asked by Lucian, by the way, and yeah, I think that so this is quite interesting, and I think it really deserves some follow-up to see because it's difficult. It's even with human observers, it's difficult to really know about the properties of the observer. So you know, trying to see whether an artificial observer is realistic or not, let's say, is twice as difficult. So it's probably yeah, a lot of so kind of you need to define your own metrics, let's say, and somehow it's a bit difficult to understand or to make sure that you are where you want to be. But at least something that definitely should be interesting is so have you run the same test? I mean, in the exactly same configuration several times to see how stable the bias or the inconsistency of an individual artificial observer is under. I mean, is the artificial observer response totally deterministic? Given, maybe this should be the main question. So, given an experiment, is the artificial observer going to always give the same ratings?
No, yeah, I think I got your question, Pablo. The point is that those AI observer outputs a probability distribution, not a deterministic score. This experiment here was run only once and using only the mode of such a probability distribution. And your observation is really interesting, but to give a direct answer to your question, no, the AI observer are trained also to mimic the inconsistency, the probabilistic nature of the human viewer opinion score. So we will definitely rerun. Maybe we can do this experiment many times and using not the mode of the predicted distribution, but anytime picking at random a realization from that one subject predicted distribution. Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah, at least you should see how how the rest of the experiment changes. But of course, if you have the model distribution, then you know all the answers. You basically know the actual underlying values because you have the model.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. If you could go back to the stamp, so it's the previous part of the presentation, the stamp about this one. It's also something you're looking for potential collaborators, so it's something I'm really interested on. I just note my name down. Also, have you planned to try to contribute that, for instance, to ITUT or something like that, so that it's not only something like a de facto standard, but also but the real, stamp given. I mean, I use this and I am following ITUT recommendation, whatever. So it's something that you plan to explore.
Indeed, it seems that you are reading in our mind, right? I mean, we are at the early stage, but still, yeah, the idea will be reaching a recommendation, like something that is to be submitted to the ITU, because we really think that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. It's like saying those publications and so on, we really need some guide to, like, to give, not only from the benchmarking aspect, but also for reproducibility. And in short, yes, we are really thinking about, we are seriously thinking about reaching an ITU recommendation.
Okay, then,
and we will be super happy to have.
Thank you. My recommendation about the recommendation would be to start moving it as soon as possible, because it can take a while, and if it gets interested from ITUT, then there's probably the sooner that people get aware that this might happen and people can contribute or not and so on, probably the better.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
So thank you, that was all.
You're welcome, Pablo. Thank you to you. Okay. Any other question? I see that the hand up. Please just go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for the presentation. This is David from Ericsson. I think especially the slide you're having or showing now is really interesting. I think this is a movement that has been going on in academia as well, for reproducibility reasons and making sure that everything is done in a fair way. do you think, I would be interested in helping out on this, and I think maybe something like what's called pre-publication could be used here, or something like that. So you essentially post your model before you have the validation scores.
Sorry, just to make sure that I understood the question. Your question is whether we are thinking to design this for. Please, I missed something in the question. Will you just repeat it? Because
yes, sorry. Have you thought about using something like pre-publication on this, if you're familiar with the term?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, actually, again, we are really at the early stage, as I said before, and everything is open. In particular, the thing that we were talking in the group, in our discussion, we're talking about trying to use our own works in order to not offend anybody, like running some experiments with our own works, showing what are the typical, the typical mistakes and typical things that are missing. But the things, the idea of using existing works and so on, yeah, it's still on. So it's something that is still being discussed.
Cool. Yeah, I would like to be in the loop if it's possible. That's interesting.
Thank you. Okay.
Sure.
And also, I mean, something I think Margaret presented at the HY 2020 a work on the level of confidence of I think industries regarding deep neural network-based video quality metrics. I mean, we are trying to go in that direction, right, Margaret? If you.
Yes. I have a report out and I'm still interested in that topic. It's something I'm hoping we'll be discussing in the SAM group over the next 6 months.
Okay, nice.
Oh, nice to know.
Okay, any other question?
Not a question, but I want to say thank you for this very interesting presentation.
You're welcome, Margaret. And maybe some last observation about my story is that basically the thing I discussed about before, right, regarding your work on how to benchmark. My question is still on how to benchmark this AI observer. If one keep in mind that observers are not even able to perfectly predict themselves, what should be the expected accuracy for this AI observer? Like once the neural network is trained, what is your feeling regarding what will be a good accuracy? If on average viewers repeat themselves with only in 57% of cases. I mean, I would really like to hear about Lucian and Margaret regarding your feeling after that experiment. Obviously, I can see that there are many hands up. I saw Lucian and Margaret, but not sure whether there was somebody. Yeah, maybe should we start with Lucian?
Okay, thank you very much. So with the AI observer, I think the easier thing is that we can at least generate many answers and then analyze somehow the distribution. And the big question is, can we somehow, think of a distribution that is reasonable and think of distributions which are not very correct. But of course, the big question is if we would like to have multiple answers from human observers and then compare to multiple answers from AI observers, this would be the most natural way of comparing. But then this really requires a lot of answers from both. What would be helpful is if we can mix answers from different cases. So like for different stimuli, if we could make a statistics that is comparing results from a human observer and given for different PVSs and an artificial observer for also different PVSs. But then the statistics start to be much more complicated and this is more tricky. But in theory, yeah, this is what at least we tried to do with those PP plots we presented last VQEG meeting. And some, so in theory, this theory could be tried to use at least. I'm not 100% sure this would be perfect, but this is my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, that is definitely a part of Lucian, and yeah, I mean, one should basically think on other statistics like than other things, like not only this concept of accuracy that work well for deterministic tasks such as image classification and so on, but in this really probabilistic, keeping in mind this such a really probabilistic nature of the problem, I agree with you that maybe other more technical or the statistics different than the concept for accuracy could be really interesting in the in that context. Thank you, Margaret, please.
Sure. Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Put up a plot?
Sure.
Okay, so this is from the report that I wrote related to the talk I gave that you referred to. And this is based on the VQEG full reference phase 1 data, because we had 4 different labs. And I'm using 3 of the labs to create a subjective test. And I'm pulling 1 person out of the other lab at random as a comparison. So the top left where it says 1 person ad hoc test, based on those 4 data sets and quite a few subjects, is the distribution we have of false ranking. That is, the subjective test said A is significantly better than B. The person said that B is better than A. And we're seeing a pretty wide distribution there, down to some people are at 30%. But overall, it's around 11 to 12% of false ranking. And it's such a wide spread that for me was a surprise and makes it a little difficult to say that your AI observer is not acting like a person if it were down around 20% false ranking, because some people are like that. But my overall conclusion, 8 pages down, so I was basically between 12 and 13% is what I would expect for 1 person. So right now, that's the best answer I can give you. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Margaret. Please, I mean, this paper is yet published, or I can have it in some manner.
Yes. Yeah? Sure, it's published. I will put the link in the meeting minutes, so you can find it there.
Okay.
Sure.
Nice. Okay, I can see that there is still there is no more question. So Rico, the floor is yours, and
Yeah. Actually, if there are no more questions, I think we are over with the JEG hybrid session. So I hand over back to the chairs.
Yes, thank you, Enrico and Loic. So we have been a bit late in the program. That kind of not very unique, I would say, for our meetings. I'm sorry about that, but I think we need a small break. It's scheduled to be 20 minutes. Could we manage with a shorter break, or do we need the 20 minutes? What you say?
Sorry, Shell. I think that we are actually a bit ahead of schedule, isn't it? If you look at,
or maybe I'm in the wrong time zone. Okay, I might be looked at the wrong time zone. I thought we were kind of very late.
Yeah, no. We're 9
Then
minutes early.
9 minutes early. That's kind of very unusual. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
so I was a bit worried here when the discussion was going on, but no, so but then I think we could have we could have our we should go on a break and maybe we should be back on the scheduled time, so people that have been targeting to just come to this session, SAM session, find the time there. So then it will be just a short of 30-minute break. So we will be back at depending on time zone, but 40 minutes after the hour. Fine.
That sounds good. And I suggest we stop recording. And Femi, would it be possible to remind people how to get to discussion groups?